99.1 Joy FM. Nick and Sandy here. So happy to get to talk to truly one of our favorites, Joel from For King and Country. Joel, how are you?
I just wanted to show off that we're actually doing live shows again. Nick, look at this. We're in Pennsylvania and playing in an amphitheater today. I have a couple other great acts joining us, and it's good to be back. You know, I mean, I think we're all very reverent towards the reality of what the world is facing, but to be outdoors, we've done a few outdoor shows in the last month or so, and it's just been, the enthusiasm from people has been remarkable. So we're glad to be here, glad to be alive.
Well, it's great to see that you're doing shows again. The last time we talked, Joel, we were in your house, actually. I mean, you weren't out anywhere, so you invited us over. And I just want to say again how special that was. Thank you. That will go down as one of my seriously top conversations ever.
It was awesome, wasn't it, Sandy? I stalked you guys on YouTube after the fact when it released, and I watched it, and the production crew did such a great job. And kind of scanned through the comments. And I love, you know, you're in the business of trying to capture the essence of a moment, right? And we do the same thing. And I love when an interview does that, when it captures the beauty and the essence of what we're trying to communicate. And I felt like you led very well that day. So thank you for having me.
Oh.
Joel, you don't have to stalk us. We're at 99.1 Joy FM on Facebook. Shameless plug. Got to work it in.
Okay, thank you. I know where to find you now.
Since we talked, though, my goodness, Relate has released. How much fun are you having doing that song live now?
Guys, you being the first ones to come on to that song, by the way.
Come on now.
You know, we've always felt so loved by you, but that was another, you know, what do they say? Arrow in the quiver of our romance between the Joy FM and For King and Country. Look, in all seriousness, it's been really special going back in to make new music because for the first time ever in this particular project, we've been at home. Like usually you're in the back lounge of the tour bus or you're in a dressing room. And in this case, it was, hey, we're just basically making this our job. 9 to 5, every 5 days a week, we're going to the studio. And it created this we wrote a lot very quickly. And Relate was kind of right in the middle of the bunch. And it was one of those rare moments that we all looked at each other and went, this is so... oh, great. This is so special and significant. And really, it's a question, you know, that we're not in the world of making statements, Sandy and Nick, particularly with regard to how we relate to one another. It's just the question of, okay, now if we're getting back together again, so to speak, if you see what I did there, once we are together, what do you do? You know, how do you just tolerate each other? And I love there's a line tucked at the very end of Relate, and it says, but by the grace of God, we'll see each other's heart. Can you relate? And I think, you know, the way through is just that. We can show some compassion and some empathy to those who look or think or act different from us. But it's the grace of God that'll carry us through and is carrying us through, you know.
You know what I truly admire about you guys is when you put out new music, it never sounds the same. There's always something a little different. There's a little twist. It still sounds like For King and Country, but you never quite know what to expect. And when Relate first started and the sound to it and the production, you're like, oh, this is interesting. Who is this? And then the vocals start and you're like, this is For King and Country. And I'm just curious, do you feel pressure to like keep upping your game every time you put out new music?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no stone left unturned as far as pining over something or questioning it. I remember the day we wrote it, it was 4 of us. And Taylor Parks, who was one of the, so it was Josh Kerr, Luke, myself.
I knew Josh Kerr. I called that, didn't I, Nick? I'm like, I know Josh Kerr's involved in that. Isn't that funny? That's funny.
Josh Sandi has literally been, so for the listeners and viewers, Josh Kerr wrote God Only Knows with us. Yeah. He wrote Together with us. And he's been kind of become a great mate, a dear friend, and he's one of the key collaborators on all this, as well as producers on all this new music. And so we were in the room, and Taylor, who's this strong woman, said, "Hey, I really think the hook should be relate. Like, can you relate?" And Josh, initially, I think we were all like, "I don't know," and we sat with it for a moment, and it was that moment of going, oh, kind of similar to what you felt, was like, oh no, absolutely, that is the sentiment, that is the word. And so we were able to kind of run with it very quickly that day. But there was a lot of, man, are we okay to go push this far sonically? But it just felt very true and very honest for us. And what's beautiful is, similar to you, both with listeners and with radio, there's been this kind of, oh yes, we're in. And that's the first time in our career that we've had this at the beginning of a project. There's always been a little bit of a head scratch, but this time it's been, no, okay, we're with you. We're going to, and that just shows the amount of trust that we've built with you, that you would allow us to sort of push in this way and trust the heart behind it and all the rest of it. So we're kids in a lolly shop, as they say, about the whole thing.
Well, we have just about a minute or two left with you. And so I just want to ask one question. Would you come celebrate Christmas with us in St. Louis, Joel?
I thought you'd never ask. Sandy. And you know, I've said to you these last few years, I'm like, Sandy, we've got to do something at Christmas. And I'm so glad to be invited, and we would love to.
Well, we can't wait. That's going to be the next chance we have to see you,
Right.
and all the Christmas wonder. I would imagine you guys will put some other songs in there somewhere. But anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you guys.
We'll sneak in Relate, and we'll sneak in some of the year-round favorites for sure. But what's so wonderful, and you know this, Sandy, from the past, but what's so wonderful about Christmas is the show and these songs, just they just go to a new height, because they're songs that have such a deep, these Christmas classics have such a deep-seated reverence and spiritual nature and connection with people. It's a whole new, it's my favorite, probably one of my favorite tours that we ever do is these Christmas tours, because it's just a celebration. And what better year, frankly, in our lifetime to celebrate than 2021, after all that we've faced last year and this year and so on. So thank you for having us, and we're really looking forward to it.
Well, the last time we got to see you guys in concert was at the drive-in, and it was about 95 degrees outside. So, like I said, every time For King and Country comes around, it's a little bit different, but it's them. So we're going from the heat to a Christmas concert, and can't wait to have you guys in town December 16th.
We're looking forward to it. You'll be one of the last shows of the year for us, so saving the best for last.
I was going to say, save a little something for us, okay?
We got you. We got you.